Hi everyone, today I have a very interesting case for you guys. I have seen lately that a lot of Redmi Note 11s are facing Wi-Fi problems where the phone will hang up, you won't be able to turn on the Wi-Fi switch, and it's not always the hardware problem. I see that several of them are hardware related. We have a problem with the actual circuit connecting to the Wi-Fi IC, where replacing the IC itself is not going to solve it. But in this case here, we have a thing that was a hardware problem. Let me explain to you guys. From Android 7 onwards, Google introduced something called Project Rebel. It means that the vendor-specific blobs and drivers are hosted in a different partition, and the device should be able to boot a specific Google GSI, generic system build, to be able to qualify for Google CTS. So what does it mean? It means we have a separate vendor partition where it hosts many important blobs for sensors, for image processing, for image processors and stuff. All of the basic firmware other than the Android itself. And it includes the Wi-Fi and Bluetooth firmware. If it is not present in these partitions, you will have problems such as Wi-Fi not working, Bluetooth not working, or even a lack of modem. You won't be able to make calls, connect to the mobile networks, and so on. So what you have to do is to fix the firmware itself. But in Xiaomi's case, it's not so easy as to flash a system, since depending where you are, what problem you are facing, you should go for EDL flashing, which is not easy on these devices. You need an authorized, a sort of an authorization from Xiaomi itself, or to use an authorized box to flash the firmware. And here's how I got around this problem here on this device. This phone is untouched. As we can see, hasn't been opened. I didn't take the back cover. I didn't need to do any hardware modification, as you guys can see here. Let me get off that case. As you see, this phone is just like factory. You see, there are no glue remnants. There's nothing. Just the phone itself as it is from factory. Let's wait for a network check again. There you are, Wi-Fi. And what I did was the following. Bluetooth was working. That's an indication that we didn't have a hardware issue, because usually when the Wi-Fi chip fails to communicate with the CPU, both Wi-Fi and Bluetooth are gone. It stopped working completely. So what I did was I hooked up this device to ADB and I pulled the logcat, and I saw there was a file missing, a MBN file related to the wireless chipset. So that was another indication that I didn't have a hardware issue, rather a software one. It looks like it happened after an update, and I've seen other devices like the Mi 11 Lite SE having this problem where the fingerprint scanner stops working after a software update. It could be related to that too. So here we have these devices. They need authentication to be able to flash a firmware, even from inside themselves, in the device itself. What I mean is that when you have the software package downloaded here, the full flash package downloaded inside the internal storage, there still has to be a way for the device to communicate with Xiaomi servers, for it to verify that the update is allowed, just like what Apple does with the IPSWs, but on a lower level. So I used Bluetooth tethering to provide that internet connection from another device to this device, since Bluetooth was working, and I was able to install the system from here, from inside the device, without using any USB cable, without using EDL, without having to take the phone apart just to trigger a test point. And then the update went successfully. Using Xiaomi Tools V2 didn't work. Using Mi Flash didn't work. The only way I could get around this problem was by doing that. So if you have a Redmi Note 11 that doesn't have a working Wi-Fi but Bluetooth works just fine, well, this solution might be for you. That's all I had to teach you guys. Maybe you were struggling with that kind of problem, and it can also help you solve other problems related to stuff that stops working after software updates, because it might be just a missing binary that went corrupted during the update. This sort of stuff can happen to any device, being Xiaomi or not, but it has been happening since like the Redmi Note 7, where the fingerprint scanner stopped working after an update. But this might be a solution for many devices and many other types of these problems where a specific function stops working or a specific sensor stops working after a software update. I hope this helped you guys. Have a good work and see you soon.